¿Dónde estaban los messages on the phone? Hi, everybody. It's to go live. I'm gonna wait for people to get on here. Y mientras que espero, hi, Cinder. Hi, Cindy. I'm gonna wait for people to get on here because I got an inquiring minds want to know question. It's gotta be 5 o'clock somewhere. Think I don't know? Yes, I do. And it's gotta be. Hi, María Chongos. Ahorita se va a poner buena la plática porque yo quiero platicar con ustedes. Pero antes de eso, ya le eché la squirt a mi vaso. Y como este programa no es de niños, que se ponga buena la cosa. No se detengan porque yo no me voy a detener. Ya se lo eché, girl, ya lo eché, ya. Mira. I have to get my little teaspoon, the one with a long handle, to see if it can mix in. But, you know, I was, this morning I got up and, you know, I love to see Yaya's show, but I usually don't get up early. So I watched her show this morning and then I noticed a little while ago that she had gone live. And hi, Vane. I noticed that she went live. And hi, Peacocks United. Esther Martinez, ¿cómo estás? And there was a lady on Yaya's show. I didn't get her last name because I wasn't on the comments. But can anybody out there, especially her, I think her name was Ana. It wasn't Ana and sus aventuras. It was another Ana. And she was kind of wanting to bitch talk to Yaya about what Ophelia did. And I've been there since the beginning, since Ophelia went and co-hosted with Frank Marr and stuff. And I want to know exactly what the hell Ophelia did that this bitch was talking about. Because every time they get on and want to be talking smack, they get selective memory loss, and none of them bitches can produce any proof of anything. So my mind is 61 years old, and I'm not forgetful Jones. I don't forget. So what exactly did Ophelia do besides defend herself against a drug-addicted paranoia person with selective memory loss of what the 72 hours before that beating was, did? So I want to know what Ophelia did. Erase the messages. Thank you. What did Ophelia do? Can that person, because I know the bitch is probably already watching me, tell me exactly what did Ophelia do besides defend her sons and herself from all the bullshit? I'm not getting paid by YouTube, so I can say bullshit. This is not a kid's show. I can say bullshit. Well, it's real easy to wash ourselves with haters are gonna hate. I mean, they keep hating about my teeth, but they're not paying for my teeth, nor do they pay the $17 that each tube of toothpaste costs that I use. No hay EBT y no va a haber EBT. Este mes, as long as the government is closed, Ana, there's not gonna be EBT. Besides that, EBT doesn't pay for this, Ana. Well, I mean, we all know that views pay. Whether they're hateful views or not, they're going to pay if you have the numbers. I don't have the numbers, so YouTube is not paying me. But I do want to ask, what did Ophelia do besides defend herself from a paranoid drug addict and other people out there and defend her family? What did she do that this person doesn't seem to want to let it go for the last I don't know how many years? In her paranoid brain, she has been inventing shit. And what does Ophelia get told? Oh, just leave her alone. You know, she's not all there. She's a damn nurse making money, according to her. So why isn't she all there? When you go to the police department, that's what you get told. You're not all there. So why is Ophelia supposed to let the bullshit go, or me? What did Ophelia do? I'm on this show because there's a lot of people that have been following the 956 drama from all the way to the red pants all up her ass to right now. And those red pants were from way back when Frank Marr was talking about her. So I can say that because that ain't slandering anybody. This drama started way back then. If it didn't start way back then Delia wouldn't have worn those red pants during the Fang show. The first one that Frank Marr did. And they had all the crows on the tables. So let's get real here. He's the one that was talking and constantly screening her shows. There's people that are still doing the same thing right now. But yet, it's always about what Ophelia did, but nobody can ever tell me what exactly did Ophelia do. Well, that's what I want to know. What did Patty Ramirez, I want to know, what did my sister do besides defend herself and her children that is still, Ofelia did it. Ofelia has all these people that she offended, but none of them will come up and put their face and say, oh, you offended me this way. Well, when you start doing anything for views, that's when push comes to shove. Because in the 956, we have found out in the last 3 years that the police department will not do anything. So push has to come to shove when people's employers start getting called. But we're not here for that show. That's another show. We're here to find out if that Ana that was on Yaya's show can tell me exactly what did Ofelia do. Because we already know that people have selective memory loss when they can't produce proof. And that's when it's hard, Maria Chongos. Let's face it. It's hard when you hate and love somebody at the same time. It's hard when you hate to admit that you love the way Ofelia talks. And I'm not talking bad. I'm just saying we had a lot of tias in the old days that would talk worse than Ofelia. But we used to love hanging around the table and hearing them talk smack and say bad words. But we never said that we were Mother Teresa of Calcutta's cousins. At least I never said it. So, yes, I'm here. And I got 35 people here. And I am asking, I'm tired of hearing Ofelia did this and Ofelia did that. But what exactly was it that Ofelia did do to make this paranoid person think that Ofelia would actually pay somebody to do anything to her when she's beneath everybody's ankles? Ofelia was a co-host on Frank Marr's show, and he was the one that was streaming her, always streaming her and making money off of her. It wasn't Ofelia. Ofelia never made any money off of Frank Marr's show. Ofelia has never made any money of Digital Dimwit's show. Ofelia has never made any money off of any of their shows. So what did Ofelia do besides defend La Loba? What did Ofelia do besides defend La Loba when she first started going on social media? Then she decided to open a show about Let's Talk. Because I remember the first show Ofelia did was about what happened to her in her first marriage. The whole thing here is that this is an ongoing chisme from way back when about things that happened more than 2 or 3 years ago where all the people were already brought to justice and are paying their time for something that happened to her even though she was in her drug addicted state with them for 72 or more hours. And I'm not, here to defend her or whatever she does in her private life. But when you start bringing the Morenos into it, then I am going to say, hey, what did the Morenos do? Because the Morenos were not in every corner selling themselves to get the drugs. Yes, it happened more than 5 years ago, and the people have been convicted. The show that was talking about her was No More Chisme. It wasn't Ofelia's show, La Doña, the first show that Ofelia did, Platicando con la Doña. So, what exactly did Ofelia do, or what exactly has Ofelia done to this person, except tell her that she needed to leave La Loba alone because La Loba was not doing nothing to her? But yet, La Loba lost a job. So we know where losing a job from bullshit on social media comes from. Because La Loba's first job as an anchor person on a radio station was lost because this person kept bugging the radio station. So, live and learn about pushing and shoving because you know you're not going to get anything from the police department. Hi, Hopi. We're all doing real good, sitting at the table, having a little drink and saying, hey, why don't you tell me what Ofelia did since you want to go on everybody's show and accuse Ofelia of doing stuff and you're not saying that Ofelia was defending herself and her family from slander? Yes, Maria Chongos, there's always going to be consequences and actions. For every action that you take, there's going to be a reaction that's going to happen. And there is going to be a consequence. But some people keep just saying, well, Ofelia has, done so much harm to so many people. When Ofelia starts every show with, if you don't like how I talk, scroll. If you don't like the way my voice sounds because you say that I have a smoker's voice, scroll. You don't have to listen to me. So what exactly... What exactly did Ofelia do besides defend herself? Not knowing, Ofelia was defending herself, not knowing that she was not going to get any support from the Willacy County Police Department because she hasn't. And if they have a problem with what I'm saying, my name is Angie Gongora. They know where I live. If I'm lying, they know where I live. They have not done anything except for one time because it had to be done for Ofelia or her family. And I will say that they haven't done anything for me. A win is always a win, yes. But when you constantly have to be saying, why does push have to come to shove with anybody that's just here slandering people? I still don't see where Miss Ana is. I think she's hiding somewhere, and I know it's not Ana y sus aventuras. It's another Ana. Nobody's stopping anybody from coming here and commenting, what did Ofelia do? Because I really want to know, at my 61 years, I want to know exactly what Ofelia did. Somebody decided in her drug-addicted brain that it was Ofelia, and everybody's supposed to go with that flow when it didn't even happen that way. I'm sorry to say it, and I'll say it here. Ofelia had nothing to do with whatever happened during that Christmas beating. Ofelia had better things to do. Spending time with the family, making tamales. It's like Maria Chongos. They know Ophelia didn't do anything. They don't even have proof of anything. They already know that all the people that were there that were guilty were already sent to jail and they're already doing their times. They're probably already getting out soon. But it's nice and easy to be slandering Ophelia and her family at every corner, every turn. Well, when you get bad baking soda, you might get bad ideas, or make them up. Uh, we already know they made up some ideas about an attic. And that never happened. But you can't just get on social media all the time and expect for me to just be there watching you. To just be there watching you or watching you and not say anything. Ophelia had started during COVID with her show wanting to just talk to people, keep them entertained. We couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't even go outside the house. Well, me and Ophelia could because we had permits to go and feed my brother's animals outside of town. And those permits were carried on our phones if we ever got stopped. We didn't, but we did have permission because there was livestock that depended on us going to that ranch every day. Well, I'm rooting for you, Hopi. I hope they win. I'm the one that has the or Hopi. I'm the one that's going to say they're going to drop that ball at the last quarter. But I hope they win. Texas City got to the playoffs. The football team at the high school is going to the playoffs this year. So I'm glad because during the high school years, my daughter was in high school. They got to state, Texas City and Lamarck. So I'm happy that they're going to the playoffs this year. What state is that, Jenny? So they're playing against your state? Well, let's hope that they win, but I have very little faith on that little star team. Patty Ramirez, yes, they keep blaming OM for everything, even though it was always I'm defending myself, you know. And then it went from her to other people that just saw the opportunity to get views if they were talking about OM, and other people just that don't even know her from Jack talking smack. And it's like, okay, it's okay because you know what? Everybody's doors have to open somehow. But, sometimes you do have to say, what exactly did she do? What exactly did she do? Can you tell me what exactly she did to still be putting up with this kind of, crucifying and crucifying and crucifying, and you're not even putting the saint backwards. You're still crucifying that. How many nails can you put on the same place? Yes, love Carol. It seems like they do love Ophelia that much that they talk about her every day, and every day they stay hours and hours on it. They wake up in the morning and think of about 20 or 30 ways that they're going to put memes about her, me, her sons, and they're still doing it and getting away with it. And the whole thing is, uh, not only are they obsessed, it's like, I can't come on my show and say, I'm not a gold coin. I already know that I'm not a gold coin. I'm not going to be liked by everybody. This conversation here, fronting people out and actually telling them, what the heck did Ophelia do? Can you tell me what she did besides defend herself? Can you tell me, do you have proof that Ophelia or anybody on Ophelia's show had anything to do with anybody out there? Except for defending La Loba, she's had to defend herself because people keep slandering her. And it's never going to fit the criteria because, in my opinion, her mouth is bigger than mine. And I don't care if they think that my mouth would look good around their penis. It's and that's why it never fits any of their criteria. And that's my opinion. Patty, my job, I never lost my job. That's what makes people mad, Patty. I'll tell you, I needed a letter stating that what happened during that Halloween show was not my fault. But unfortunately, some people in higher positions than what I had were sitting on paperwork, and it took 2 years for me to get a letter saying that I was innocent. 9 months after my job asked me to get something from the court system, I was told, hey, Gongora, and I have the letter. Hey, Gongora, we can no longer hold your post. We can't keep holding your job. So I had to, tell them, okay, but I can't produce a letter until the court system produces it by itself. And they were sitting on the paperwork. And I can't do nothing about it right now. I'm trying, but I can't do nothing about it right now because I've tried. But I didn't lose any job. It was something that had to be done that way. And after 9 months of waiting around, I got unemployment because my job couldn't say that I left my job because I wanted to. So they had to pay my unemployment after 9 months. But I didn't go on unemployment right away because I didn't leave my job voluntarily. They told me go and get a letter from the courts, and the courts were sitting on paperwork for 2 years. So that's your answer, Patty, to what happened to about my job. But I couldn't do nothing about it. Does it bother me? It does, but can't do nothing about it. It did happen to me, Patty, and it is sad, but I'm not as weak as some people think I am. The whole thing with this, Patty, is that this shack, this jacal that I'm living in, I had it before I had any job that was paying any type of good job. I bought this shack before my good jobs. So I didn't have to pay rent or anything like that except for light, water, and gas. So that kind of helps. But it doesn't matter to me because I tell them from the corner to the corner, from the poste to the corner, I paid for this. I paved my own driveway. I paved my own way. I didn't sleep with anybody. I wasn't sleeping with people to try to get somebody's house. This is my house. I don't have to lie about what happened either because I have proof. But do they have proof of what Ophelia did for them to continuously slander her and keep saying that she did all this stuff and they keep it in the gray because none of them have proof? That's right, Maria Chongos. Nobody got no favors from this little mouth. But, I just came on here because I was like, really? They can go on Yaya's show and accuse Yaya of being Ophelia's best buddy. And, always defending Ophelia when Yaya's show, and I'll tell anybody, including Yaya's show started criticizing all the programs, all the platforms, and she's still doing it. And I love the way that she criticizes everybody. She's the same way across the board. So that's one of the biggest things that Yaya has that I admire is that she started her show criticizing all the platforms and she's still doing it. So for people to tell her, yeah, but you're always defending Ophelia or this and that, that's besides the point. The whole point here is don't go on Yaya's show unless you have actual black and white. And I'm talking about black and white. I'm not talking about the gray with no evidence. If you don't have black and white proof that Ophelia did something, then you're slandering Ophelia. And I don't care who gives you a little exit. When push comes to shove, you're not going to have an exit with slander. And it's like, it's always been that way. People can let you get away with a lot of stuff just because they don't want to deal with you. But when real push comes to shove, you will find out real quick. There's lots of people that have found out real quick when push came to shove. Because playing games of cream of wheat with the police department, that's one thing. We can all play games of cream of wheat. I don't know, Jeannie. Haven't gotten a period in I don't know how long. I don't have any period cramps. I'm going to say it how it is. You can't fan faster. It's like, I really don't care, but I am going to come here and say, all the time they go on all the shows and they talk smack about Ophelia, but they never can produce any evidence of anything and back it up with what they're saying. So I wanted to ask, and I've been here 30 minutes, 35 minutes. I have a little clock up here that says 35 minutes and 8 seconds. And nobody has told me what exactly Ophelia has done. And I know those haters are here because I have 43 people in the middle of an afternoon on a Monday. Jenny, you don't know what Ophelia did either. Besides defend herself and defend La Loba, and every once in a while defend me. Probably Hopi. She probably did mean it that way, but I thought my way was funny. So they got on Yaya's show and they said they were going to defend whoever they wanted. And it's okay, they can defend whoever they want, but if they're going to slander Ophelia, they need to have proof. Well, Lupe Ramirez, we don't know where the pew pew is, and they don't want to talk about that pew pew, but hey, we're not here about that one either because they haven't said a word about that pew pew, and they're still hiding from being served. That's what I heard on Facebook. Love Carol, yes, we're all sinners. But as much as we are all sinners, we do want to make OM look like a worse sinner than we are. And why? Because she says a few bad words here and there. And so what? You know, it's like you don't have to watch her when she's saying bad words. Well, hopefully you'll get enough signatures on your petition, Maria Chongos. You know, but I mean, around here, there's plenty of shows about government misuse of conduct and misappropriation of power and stuff. Even last week, I think the week before last week, there was an officer from, not a police officer, but somebody in the government of McAllen that was put in jail for laundering money, and the people are still wanting him to keep his job. So, I mean, it happens a lot. Rosana Garza, everything's fine with me and Ophelia. Everything's fine. We're just here because I wanted to know, what did Ophelia do? Why is Ophelia so relevant to their making money from talking about her over and over at Rover, and none of them can produce any proof of anything? I mean, when I sit here and say there's somebody on somebody's show that has a son that was masturbating on the internet, there's shows. The show's out there on the internet. That's not a lie. I'm not slandering anybody. That's a truth. You know, it's like, get real. I should have it on all messages. I missed something that you wrote. Come to me. Sin Ofelia no tragan María Chongos. Ah. OM, Patty Ramirez, OM has always said, if Joe Biden doesn't talk about me, I won't talk about Joe Biden. If you don't talk about me, I won't talk about you. By the time Ofelia gives a step, she's got a shoe on her foot. By the time Ofelia, como dice el mexicano, no da pisada sin huarache. By the time Ofelia decides that she's going to talk about somebody on one of her shows, it's because that person already was out to slander Ofelia on somebody else's show. She will not go on her show and just be rayándole la madre a somebody without any proof that that person did it to her first. If I don't talk about Joe Biden, it's because Joe Biden didn't talk about me, is Ofelia's favorite saying. One of her other favorite saying is, I'm still standing, like Elton John said, So, me saying that Ofelia no da pisada sin huarache, that's the truth. Ofelia's not going to talk about anybody on her show if they didn't talk about her first. Betty Ramirez, Delia did a lot of things that I will tell anybody. I met Delia a couple of times. We sat at the table and ate at Ofelia's house. We ate chicharrones with frijoles and tortillas recién hechas at the table. But I'm not going to give anybody angel wings that are not deserved. Delia did do the signs with the little dolls on them. So, I'm not going to be here saying, oh, she deserves angel wings. No, I probably don't even deserve angel wings whenever I die. I'm not here to ask, hey, when I die, can you all please give me angel wings? No, because you know what? The only one that's going to give out those and issue those angel wings out is God. And he will judge every single one of us individually, not as a group. Should I be saying this? Probably not, because this is just an inquiring minds want to know show. And I want to know. And for the last 43 minutes, nobody got on here and said exactly what Ofelia did. So I'm going to let you all go because my little birds are starting to act up there. Don't forget that it all started when Ofelia decided that she was going to co-host on somebody that was streaming another person and has still been making money off of that person all this time. But it wasn't Ofelia making the money. But that person has selective memory loss. So we're going to leave it at that. Miss Fruit of the Looms, you think that I'm lonely? And I need friends? There's 54 people here watching me, including you. So what makes you think that I need to get out of my house to make friends? I don't need to go anywhere to make friends. I have a worldwide web and I have my own platform on it. If I didn't have my own platform, Miss Fruit of the Loom, you wouldn't be here trying to talk smack. You think I'm a lonely senior? You're being humorous.
So that's what I'm talking about, this.
Patty Ramirez, Miss Fruit of the Loom probably is one of the ones that doesn't stop dreaming about OM, but she also is probably one of the ones that wants to come on here and put remarks like that I'm an old senior that's lonely, but still will not put what OM did or why all the slandering is going on. You know, even if they go on Yaya's show, they keep going over there and interrupting whatever Yaya's talking about on with their comments on the sidelines, and it's like, yeah, they are bad, Maria Chongos, but sometimes you gotta let them be bad. You know, it doesn't bother me because if I really was here to preach, I could. All the haters are like that, and then they want to say they didn't do it. They didn't strike and hide their hand. They don't like to hear. Yeah, they're probably crows, huracas. They don't like to hear that if they don't talk about OM wouldn't be talking about them. They don't like to hear that. Because if they keep talking about OM, then they keep making money. But one of these days, they're going to get somebody to actually strike their show while on a computer. Right now, I'm on a cell phone. I can't strike anybody. But I want y'all to enjoy the rest of your afternoon. It's been 47 minutes. I just wanted to know. And of course, I didn't get no reply from the haters. I got them on here, but all they can come up with is that I'm a senior. I never denied that I was 61 years old. And I've never denied that these are not my teeth. I paid for these teeth. So, if y'all want to send any money for my teeth or my toothpaste that costs $16 a tube, it's AMP 1764. Haters. We'll talk to y'all later. Huracas. Bye.